Now, we know the big part of this plan was to bring down the central bank, and we've said this before, but Trump has Andrew Jackson hanging on the wall of the White House. Andrew Jackson campaigned on bringing down the central bank. Q confirmed that there's going to be an economic structure change. Q also confirmed that they already know that the economy is going to come down. And we know that Trump has been using the manipulation of the deep state, the central banks, to create an atmosphere of the economy doing well. Now, this was done on purpose because they knew that they were going to push the idea that the economy was falling apart because of what Trump was doing, all his economic policies. Trump countered this. And it wasn't just Trump. Yes, there are many people working with him. How did he counter this? Well, he continually contradicted the Fed, moving the narrative to the Fed that they're the ones who are hurting the economy, because he manipulated the data, using the same manipulation the deep state, the central banks have been using, to create the illusion the economy was doing well. He had to do this. This was part of the plan. He needed to show that the economy was doing well, and because what the Fed was doing, they're the ones who are to blame. In the meantime, he had to get rid of the trade deals. He had to, and these are the trade deals of the globalists, he had to renegotiate all these different deals and create new ones, and put the United States on a level playing field with other countries, especially China, because China was going to be the next powerhouse of the new economy. This is why all the manufacturing, this is why everything is there. So Trump right now is leveling the playing field. And we can see the mainstream media, they have already started their campaign narrative of countering everything that Trump has been saying about the economy. And they're talking about a recession in 2020. Q already confirms that this is what they were going to do. And Q is saying that they are ready and prepared for this and get ready for an economic structure change. And we'll be talking about that and how the deep state and how Trump and how all this is coming together a little bit later. But let's start off with the Brexit right now. And we can see that time is running out. The clock is running down. And Europe is insisting that the Brexit deal will not be renegotiated. Robert Peston tweeted out the following: EU leaders will not renegotiate withdrawal agreement to modify backstop. The best way they will do is interpret it for Theresa May in a friendly way. That will never secure Commons majority for the Brexit plan. So why is she bothering with any of this? We have from Connor McMorrow, breaking. At Juncker EU tells European Parliament withdrawal agreement will not be reopened. He said the backstop necessary for the entire coherence of the agreement, and it is necessary for Ireland. Ireland will never be left alone. So it looks like right now is May is doing everything she possibly can to try to save this deal. And of course, they're pushing forward that this is the best possible deal because this is the only one they're putting forward. And the EU is also threatening, you better accept this or else. Whenever a government, a central bank, non-elected leaders threaten people to accept something, that means the deal is not good. And hopefully, and as we can see already, they're having trouble. We see out in Australia, they are warning of a severe housing collapse and banking crisis. Now, Australia's household debt to income ratio has ballooned to shocking levels over the past 3 decades, as Sydney is ranked as one of the most overvalued cities in the world. Australia's regulators have been warned to prepare contingency plans for a severe collapse in the housing market. Now, it's not just Australia. There are many other countries that are seeing the same exact thing. They're seeing it in Vancouver. They're seeing it in many of the cities in Canada. We're seeing it here in the United States. They're seeing it throughout Europe. Remember, the global economy was built on a central bank illusion. And what they did was they made it seem like everything has been great And it's been great, and everything has been improving. And all they've been doing is pushing out more and more debt, blowing up more and more bubbles. Their plan was to shift everything and cover it up with war. This is no longer the plan. So what we're seeing right now is what it looks like without the event. We're watching the central bank system, which is controlled by the Rothschilds. We're watching their system completely implode on itself. This is why the central bankers are reporting, and they're panicking, that their independence is under threat. They're worried about governments, people waking up and starting to realize who is responsible for the global economy coming down. And that is the central bank system, because this is their system. Their system was never designed to last this long. This is why they need an event to cover it up. Trump stole this away from them. Are they trying to push this event? Of course they are. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to maneuver some way, somehow, to regain control of the narrative. Now, think about it. Control right now is with Trump. He's manipulated the same data that they've been manipulating. The economy looks great. They can try to hammer at it to make it seem like the economy is not great. But he's just continually presenting the data to them, saying, well, look at the data. The data says 3% unemployment. Look at the GDP numbers. Look at manufacturing. Look at what's happening here. Look at the number of job openings. Remember, all this is manipulated. They can't counter that, but they're going to try. And this is what they're hoping for. This is why this whole thing with Huawei and the arrest of Meng, they've been trying to disrupt the deal with China. And we'll be talking about that in just a minute. But what's very interesting is that ISS, this is Denmark's cleaning giant. They employ a lot of people. They are letting go 100,000 employees. And what they're saying is that the emerging markets, it's not worth it anymore. But if you look at their numbers going all the way back to 2011, 2012, their employee numbers have been dropping ever since, which tells us something. Something is wrong with the company. Yes, they can use all other excuses, but something is terribly wrong. The IMF, the central banks, they're continually out there saying that the economy, the global economy, the U.S. economy, it's all going to slow because of tariffs, Trump's economic policies, and the chief economist at the International Monetary Fund has been reporting this. And he went on to say that for the rest of the world, there seems to be some air coming out of the balloon. That will come back and also affect the U.S. Now, we need to understand that they're talking about their own illusion, their own economy. But they're going to be trying, what they're going to try to do is they're going to try to blame this on Trump and the Patriots. That has always been their plan. Well, if Trump wasn't in there and Clinton was in there, they just blame another country. But they don't have that option right now. So Trump tweeted out the following today. Very productive conversations going on with China. Watch for some important announcements. So this whole idea that the tariffs are going to bring down or slow the global economy, this has just been countered by Trump. And Trump is already telling us to watch for these important announcements because think about it. He's used the manipulation the central banks, the deep state has been using. They can't really argue about the economy, even though they try. They've been blaming it on the tariffs. Now Trump is coming out with a deal with China, and he's countering that narrative. But if you look at all the mainstream media outlets and you see what they're saying, you can see what they're trying to do. Freelancers get ready for the coming recession, coming out of Forbes. J.P. Morgan, Bank of America detect hints of a U.S. recessions looming in 2019. This is coming out of Bloomberg. There could be an unlikely place to hide out if a recession is coming. And then it says housing, CNBC. And if you look on Google, It's just one right after another. Now, they're saying that something is going to happen in 2019, 2020. Now, if we go back to Q's post, 2575, and we read it once again, the plan to have the Fed raise rates, and this is in brackets in bold, steep incline beginning March 2019. Beginning March 2019. So they're planning, and this is what they've been planning, for the economy to come down in 2020. Now, think about what Trump has been doing. He's been contradicting Powell, saying, well, I put a Fed chairman in there that was supposed to be an easy money Fed chairman. Instead, I got a Fed chairman who is raising interest rates. Now, this is exactly what he wants. This is part of the plan. This was also part of the plan of the central bankers. Think about this for a sec. So Trump is basically using their plan against them. And it went on to say that they're using a steep incline beginning March 2019 in an effort to kill the economy prior to 2020 presidential election. Q is saying it is known and it is planned for. Structure change coming. So the mainstream media, they're still pushing their same narrative that a recession is coming. Q, Trump, the Patriots, they already have this plan for it. They already know what they're going to do. And if we look at what Trump has been saying all along to counter their argument is the following. He tweeted June 13, 2018, realize the economy is the best it's ever been with employment being at an all-time high and many companies pouring back into our country. Wake up, Punchy. This one is September 10th, 2018. The economy is so good, perhaps the best in our country's history. Remember, it's the economy, stupid, that the Democrats are flailing and lying like crazy. Phony books, articles, and TV hits like no other poll has had to endure, and they are losing big. Very dishonest people. October 5th, 2018. Just out, 3.7% unemployment is the lowest number since 1969. This is back in March of 2018. Manufacturing in U.S. expands at fastest pace since May 2004. Now, Trump is continually tweeting out there, countering everything that the mainstream media is trying to do. Remember, their plan is to use the Fed like they've always used to bring down the economy. And they've been trying to disrupt everything in many different ways. They tried to have Trump do something with Saudi Arabia because of Khashoggi. Didn't work out. They arrested the CFO of Huawei, trying to pit China and the United States against each other, hoping that maybe China would do something to react to this. Guess what? It's not working. Trump has already tweeted out that there's already big news coming out of China. Xi Jinping, Putin, Trump, the Patriots, they already know what the deep state is doing. Xi Jinping already knows that this arrest is being done on purpose by the deep state. It's not the Trump administration. This is why Xi Jinping is still working with Trump. This is why Putin is still working with Trump. Their ultimate plan here is to bring down the global central banking system, which is the Rothschild banking system. This is why early on in 2017, Q was out there giving us the list, explaining to everyone what this is all about. Now, since Q has come out and told us about what is going to happen, you're going to probably see a lot more posts from Q about the central banking system, about how the people around the world are moving against the central banking system. They don't want the central bank system to have independence. The people should control their own monetary system. We're going to see Trump continually contradict the Fed and point the finger at the Fed. It has begun. We are ready and prepared. The transition, the economic structure change is coming.